Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Retro Wrestling Review USWA Podcast. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, coming to you as always from the Retro Wrestling Archive in Gadsden, Alabama. Now, joining me and welcoming my co-hosts, first up, he's the man who has earned a certificate for perfect attendance for the 1991 season of the USWA Podcast. He's your friend and mine. It's Josh Briley of P3 Radio. Josh, what's up?
I'm going to redeem the gift card on your ass. Like that's going to happen. I'll give you my address after the show. It'll be great.
Producer Smokey told me to make sure to get that address. He's making some fine looking certificates. They got a gold seal on them. They look official as fuck. So y'all are gonna be proud of these.
Sweet. I'm on Smokey's good side.
Yeah.
Does he appreciate perfect attendance?
He does, because he's like, well, look at you. He's like, you didn't even, you don't even have perfect attendance this season. And I'm like, well, you didn't either, asshole. You went with me to North Carolina. So I wasn't going to talk about it just yet, but we got in a whole argument this morning, and Smokey's not even here this morning.
Oh, wow.
I'll talk about who's sitting in for him, and it's not Duke. He got pretty heated about Duke being in the studio. He doesn't like
did
dogs.
Hear that. He got scared.
Yeah, and he keeps sniffing around. You know how they do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on. But right now, of course, we can't do the show without our other co-host. He too has earned a certificate for perfect attendance for 1991 USWA. He's the owner, founder, and president of STS Pod.Club, and he's the new king of Jonesboro, Arkansas. The new thing I like to do to mess with Rob. We'll talk about that a little bit later. He is King BT, or you can call him KBT for short. There he is, the king. Look at him. He's holding his cape on, not literally. Yesterday on Power Pro, he literally had a cape. Today, he does have the crown. It's still on top of his fedora.
Damn, it's been there for over 24 hours. So I'm excited that Smokey's not there, because I figure he'd be mad at me, because y'all know this. Gene knows it. You probably don't know this, Josh, but I lost my sponsor yesterday because we were watching commercials, and I acted like Fleming Fine Furniture was the people that was sponsoring me. It's actually Jolly Royal Furniture. So Jolly Royal called me, and they canceled their sponsorship. So only people I have right now is Spaghetti Warehouse. I'm talking to some guy named Danny Owens about a place called Danny's. I don't know if it's a liquor store or something. And then there's a jewelry store called Platinum Plus. I can't wait, man. We'll have those people here, so helping us out.
I don't think that's a jewelry store, but I'll let you figure that one out on your own. Yeah, Smokey threw the headset down. He was just 9 kinds of pissed about that whole sponsor debacle yesterday, and we actually weren't supposed to bring that up. Luckily, he's not here though, so I guess we'll be all right. But guess what, guys? I got a surprise for you. We've got a special guest here for the finale, and now people are going, well, we know who this is. Every time he's had a special guest, it's a certain person. Well, unfortunately, it's not that certain person. We would have loved to have had him, but he's a busy man. But we've got someone who stood in for me last week, did a tremendous job, and he's a long time, as he said last week, long time listener, first time caller of the show. So here he is, our surprise guest for the 1991 season finale. He's a top candidate for the Retro Wrestling Archive Podcast Network's 2026 Rookie of the Year Award. He's one of the top 5 gorgeous Jimmy Garvin tribute artists in the world today, as well as the president and founder of the Stevie Wonderful Fan Club. He's also my co-host for the ECW podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Brandon E. Dangerously himself, Brandon Wheeler. Brandon, what's up, my friend?
How's it going, guys? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to have you. I'll say like we've done a bunch of them, but last year's finale for the 1993 was a lot of fun. And even though at that time, BT was still the pinch hitter, if you will, the stand-in for Richard Mulligan, he joined us, and we had 4 of us. And I don't know, it was kind of a fun dynamic as we went through, and everybody kind of gave their response to the awards. I thought, man, Brandon's watched all the shows. Why not have him here? He may break a couple of ties, or he may have an interesting take on some of these awards, because, you know, for the people who have watched all the shows, they may kind of already have an idea of what we're going to say for some of these, but Brandon's going to be the wild card. You don't know what he's going to say. So I think that's a fun little addition. Before we get into the show, I do want to touch on a couple of things real quick. This past week was the 8-year anniversary of the passing of Brian Christopher, which we discussed on our Live from the Archive show on Wednesday night last week. But I wanted to give BT and Josh an opportunity to comment and share any thoughts you guys have on Brian and his passing. It's already been 8 years. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, man. Dude, it was crazy, you know, whenever we heard about it. I mean, because Brian had done P3 radio just several months before all that crap happened. And I don't know. We're one of the last interviews he actually did. And we were, you know, we did a little tribute thing and stuff. But like, I remember just from that interview, because I had met Brian before and hung out with him and stuff, and we had fun. But like, you know, that was years before this. This was 2017. And just getting with Brian and stuff, man, I got so pissed off. Richard was like, man, that's just Brian, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't happen on the day it was supposed to. And he, you know how Brian is, you know, and I got pissed off. And I was like, man, that motherfucker, you know. And like, we did another date and the interview happened. And it was like it had never happened. Brian had that thing about him where it was just like he could piss you off, and then immediately you love him to death, man. He was an awesome guy. I loved hanging out with him. It only happened briefly, but like just you know, he was a great interview too. And go and check it out in the P3 Radio archives.
Hey, Gene,
I need to share that one, and the y'all did a great tribute. I need to share that one as well. BT.
If I die before y'all, just go ahead and take what Josh just said and just take out the Christopher part and just let him keep talking. Brian, and you know,
something about Brian's.
You know, I didn't have a lot of one-on-one dealings with Brian Christopher. What the ones I did have are legendary. One of these days I am going to tell my stories of Brian Christopher, and I always felt uncomfortable backstage with him because he was such a wild card. He had something going on constantly when I was backstage. But as a fan, I was always a fan of Brian Christopher, even in Memphis, and also when he went to WWE. I loved the gimmick. So a lot of stuff. When you get a call at 8 o'clock in the morning that the king is wanting you to take something off your website because you're talking about his son, that kind of gives you a weird perspective of somebody. And you don't, and I never said, I'm not saying anything bad, but everybody knew. I do know that there's people on my Facebook that, one being Kevin White, you can tell how loved Brian Christopher was from his real friends. I was not his real friend. So, and that always saddens me, especially Kevin, who's got a big heart. He always puts stuff up about Brian.
Yeah, I was around Brian some and knew him a little bit, but I mean, I couldn't say we're friends or that I knew him well, but I was friends with some people who were really close to him. And yeah, man, hearing, some of the tributes they've made to him over the years and how, you can tell it's still painful for most of those guys even today, says a lot about him. And man, just such a talented guy. He always, lived in the shadow of his father, unfortunately, but I feel like there was so much more he could have done as the Brian Christopher that we saw in Memphis in this 92 year that we're coming up on, the 93 year that we've already done. He kind of got locked into that Grandmaster Sexay gimmick once he did it in WWF. And I get it. Promoters, after you've been on the big stage with that persona, that's the persona they want to book. That's where they feel the value is. But man, I feel like if he could have come back and done some version of the heel character that he did in the early 90s, he probably could have got a little more prominent role on TV somewhere besides doing, whatever incarnation of Memphis wrestling was going on that year, and whatever indie shows he was doing. But man, 8 years, it just doesn't seem real. The older I get, the more time flies, and more it's just crazy to me how quickly things move. And speaking of that, this week also marked the 13-year anniversary of the passing of Corey Maclin. And I'm pleasantly surprised at the response our post got on the Facebook page. Over 600 likes, 200 comments. There were more than a few different members of Corey's family who shared it and come in and liked other people's comments. So I thought that was real nice. I mean, a lot of times people think all the Corey stuff on the shows and different things is a bit of a rib, but I've always been a fan of Corey's. I thought he brought something to the table on USWA and Power Pro, and I think he got a little out of hand once he became the man in later years. But I think starting when he did in the early 90s and being there through the end of his promotion, I think he definitely has a significant place in the history of Memphis wrestling. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, personally, I think I've said this maybe last year on one of the 93 shows initially, but Corey, he got a lot of shit from like dirt sheets and, people critiquing him and stuff. But like, to me, he's a part of my fucking childhood, man. Like, he's one of those voices. And I didn't critique Corey back then. I mean, shit that he would say, that's ridiculous and all that. I love that. Like, it was something about him where, same with Lance Russell. Like, he wasn't this super detailed announcer by any means, but he was a great fucking announcer. And filling his void whenever he left and went to WCW, they got Michael St. John, and I like Michael St. John, but it just wasn't the same. But like Corey, usually in these situations things go bad, but Corey was perfect for that situation. And like I said, voice of my childhood. I fucking hated hearing that he was gone, especially as young as he was and the way he went. It was a fucking tragedy. Like, just like Brian Christopher, man, I think he could have done more if he would have, latched on to. I think he would have been all up in some podcasts. In this day and age, I think he would, with the advertising and stuff that he did, dude, he would be so for this.
No doubt. BT, Brandon, you guys got anything?
I don't. The weird thing is, Josh said a lot of things there that's true, in the sense that the dirt sheets gave him so much hell and the websites gave him hell, but he didn't always bother me, in the sense I wasn't like shitting on him all the time. He was fun for me, and he's still fun for me, in a weird way. And I didn't like when he got in the business, when he was actually being in the main event at the Mid-South Coliseum and stuff like that, with his angles. I didn't like that. And almost anyone in the dressing room during that time that I did the website can tell you Corey didn't like me either. So, but I think he's a big part of Memphis wrestling history. And damn, if you're going to do a Memphis wrestling, he was still alive, some kind of history thing, you'd have to include Corey Maclin, man. You'd have to bring him on and let him talk. So,
yeah, Brandon.
I mean, I had the same feelings. I was always a big fan of Corey. Of course, Josh, how old are you?
I'm 44.
Okay, so we're the same age.
Yeah.
As a kid, I liked Corey. I thought Corey was great. Actually, when the show started and everybody started bagging on him, it's like, shit, man, I didn't remember him being that bad. I always enjoyed Corey. I mean, I remember, when he passed, kind of being tore up about it. Yeah. I mean, I got nothing bad to say about him.
I think that's one thing. Some of where the kids say the old heads, the guys in my age group and a little older, sometimes lose sight of the fact, that not everybody's of an age that they really remember the heyday of Lance Russell. They kind of only remember Lance showing back up in like 95 USWA. And he's only kind of a figure that they hear about from maybe their older relatives that grew up on Memphis. And so for a lot of people, kind of the point that you guys are making, Josh and Brandon, is that is the voice of their childhood as far as Memphis wrestling goes. You know, they probably relate Corey's voice to Memphis as much as Dave Brown or anybody else's. So, I think that's important to note. And yeah, there's plenty of stuff to have fun with there, but he brought a different thing. Like, to me, Lance and Dave being the weatherman and being so tied to TV5, I always kind of looked at him, and not that he portrayed himself this way, but I always kind of looked at him as kind of above all that. And maybe even Lance too, to the point where he was kind of a fatherly figure. And I don't know, even though he wasn't like Eddie Marlin, but he kind of restored order and all that. But Corey came off, and especially as we've seen as he appears here in 91, he's a fan. He kind of represents the fan behind the microphone, because he's getting fired up at the Moondogs, and he's giving the reaction you expect the fan at home to give. And that's different, because you really hadn't had that in Memphis. You know, Lance was like, oh, come on. But it was more of a, you know, like, come on, knock that shit off. Corey like, motherfucker, I'll get a chair and hit you too. Like, he was ready to jump in and swing a chair on Rick Lee a couple of weeks ago. And that's a different element, you know. So I think it's something fun he brought to the table. And as I pointed out, Intern Benny is sitting in for producer Smokey, who's still mad, but Intern Benny went over to our store and got him a shirt, and look what he's rocking this morning. He's Briley rocking the Mac Daddy shirt.
Gene, he don't care that Duke was in the studio.
No, he don't give a shit. He's not scared. He's not scared of dogs.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's representing there. So go Benny.
Hold on, I gotta say this live because he might not have said anything when we were just talking before the show. Brandon, blink if you're okay. Blink for
BT's gonna buy him a background. It's bothering him that he could be at his house. He could be in Iraqistan somewhere in trouble.
Iran, that boy's in Iran. He's live from Iran.
That damn Ayatollah done got him.
He's being held hostage by them KAW guys. Dustin, pay the money.
I'm gonna have to cut it, shut it off. Brandon's been held up. He's been held up.
He's held up like that title was.
Did you say KKK or
no
KW? Oh, my bad. If we were cool,
your home team's not going to steal Brandon.
My bad, Brandon. My bad. Just because we're both from Jonesboro, you know.
That's right.
Jonesboro. So, Josh, the new thing is, I do that every now and again, and my lips don't move when I do it, and it freaks Rob out. He thinks he's like BT is invading whatever show he's on at any given time, because he looks around and he's like, I didn't know Gene was doing it. I didn't see his lips moving. So.
You need to get you a Rocco, or you're like a Gene's version of Rocco, and do the announcing.
I said that on the show yesterday. I was like, hey, I'm going to get a dummy of BT with a little fedora with a crown on top of that, and like when BT can't be here, then
that would be awesome.
Little BT is going to come in, which is completely different than little Sandy
BT.
from the ECW show. If anybody that listens to the ECW show, y'all know who little Sandy is. And
is he going to have a crown too?
Of course, it's a must.
Just ask the wife about that, and you'll find out.
All right. And now it's time to welcome our new sponsor, Blue Chew. No, I'm just kidding.
Did I tell you how fine the Blue Chew worked? Look.
No.
Supposed to go right. Who is not Johnny Knoxville, but the other Steve O. He's the one that drives me crazy with the ads that he does. So
yeah, I've got to use Blue Chew because I've shot bottle rockets up my own ass and nothing works anymore. I can only imagine what it takes to get that thing to function after all he's put it through.
Oh, man.
Anyway, it's time as we get ready to say farewell to 1991. Again, last year we had some fun. We didn't really know what we were doing. It was our first year, and we kind of fell into kind of doing a recap and some awards and different things. So here's what we're going to do. I hope everybody got the list of the different awards and kind of has some things in mind. So what we're going to do is I'll list the award. we'll go around the table here. Each person can tell who you thought won, but save any honorable mentions or any backups. We'll go over them last, because what happened last year a couple times, somebody would give their winner of something, and then they'd give their honorable mention, and it would step on somebody else's answer who was going to say it kind of feels weird for that to be their pick when somebody else has already covered 3 other picks right after their pick. So we're going to go around. We'll say it. Give your pick. What do we want the rotation to be here, guys? We're going to start on the top left corner and go around. We'll go, or do you want to come around this way? Josh, BT, me, and then like I say, Brandon's kind of the wild card. Nobody knows exactly what he's going to say. And our opinions may have changed since.
Gang.
You're gay?
I'm gang.
I was going to say this is a weird time to come out, but all right.
I meant to say game.
That's kind of one of those end of the show things usually, but
So he did say gay.
he did.
And he's the king of them.
He's the king.
Josh, he said them. He called him them.
You know how.
We're canceled now.
They,
canceled.
No, it's them and they. He's not giving you. He's
my
labeling
bad.
you.
My bad.
He's being proper, actually.
We got canceled yesterday.
I'm being an ally. I'm supporting.
Yes, and it's not even June, so that's a pretty big gesture on his part.
Yeah.
So, all right, what are we doing? This is Power Pro yesterday was sketchy enough. I probably should have done some editing of that show, but I didn't. Oh, here's another thing, BT. This is a weird time to throw this out. You know how they pulled the show down off R2 things? 30 minutes after the show ended, I get a thing sent to my the Retro Wrestling account saying, we made a mistake. There was no issue. Your video's fine. But they didn't restore the ones they took down. They just left the one alone that we had up. But fuck you too.
Yeah,
anyway.
I didn't know what was going on. And we both it was our personal side. Gene's personal and my personal got the Power Pro yanked right in the middle of the stream. So I don't.
Yeah, right in the middle of the live stream, they pull it down and tell us for copyright, but it still kept going on the Retro Wrestling and the STS Pod Facebooks. And then afterwards, like, our bad. There's no copyright.
I was going to say there's somebody else sitting in Jonesboro doing this.
Hey, shut it down. Shut it the fuck down now.
Go to break.
So, all right. So we're going to, and maybe this, I don't know, maybe we should have ended with this, but it looked like last year, I think we started with this. It's the biggest WTF moment. And BT, what does WTF stand for?
What the fuck?
There it is. All right. So we'll begin with P3 Josh. Josh, what was your biggest what the fuck moment of 1991?
Well, I mean, I went into great detail whenever we reviewed the show, obviously, and I don't know. I guess I kind of feel guilty about still harboring so much shit for it, but it was the fucking Leatherface and Lawler had a match to where if Leatherface gets pinned, then he unmasks. Yes. Lawler just sets him on fire. They show that the next week, but they never show the unmasking. They never mention the point of the unmask, like he had to unmask. They never even said that. They just acknowledged that Lawler fucking almost barbecued his ass, and that was it. I had a fucking dream the night before this show aired about this match. Like, I was expecting, I wanted to know who the fuck Leatherface was. That was very important to me. And they totally pulled the rug out from under me. I still am pissed off about that.
And that was a hot topic. Like, whenever we would post videos involving Leatherface in the clips we would post, it would always devolve into 60 comments of people arguing over who Leatherface was.
That was
and
Jeff Gaylord.
It was really hard to get a clear-cut answer because it had been different people at different times. And by the time he was supposed to get unmasked in this match, I'm not even sure who was really doing it because it had
Memphis
been
Monroe.
It had been, it could have been. It had been Brian Lee. It had been Dennis Knight. It had been later on. It would be 2 or 3 other people. But anyway, BT, what is your biggest WTF moment?
I guess mine was Bill Rush taking that pile driver from the turnbuckle there. Well, I even went out of my way to do a interview with Bill Rush after we watched all that. And it just, to me, I never remembered anything like that happening on Memphis Wrestling. and it looks so freaking dangerous. They did it to one other person, right? But they did it to Bill first, and I just that was my what the fuck are they doing on television doing a move like that? So
yeah, it was scary. It was one of the scarier like wrestling moves you've ever seen on Memphis television. My biggest WTF moment was the attempted murder of Robert Fuller with a plastic bag by Tex Blasinger and BT's friend. And that on record, that was the very first time he was there as a stand-in because Dave Brown and Michael St. John were both off that week. That was the first recorded reference of Corey Maclin going, "That's ridiculous," as he's wandering around ringside with a mic as they're killing Robert Fuller with a plastic bag. And oh, ridiculous. So that touched me on a number of different levels. Brandon?
Well, maybe I misunderstood the question. I kind of went a little bit different direction. My what the fuck moment was when Honey Love cut his promo and chokes out Michael St. John, and he's just like flailing on the ground. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. That whole segment, Eddie Marlin comes out and beats up Honey Love. I thought that was a highlight of.
That's a perfect. That's
a great call.
But I went a little different direction.
I like it. That was my goal here, was that you would have a unique take for us, and that's a perfect example because that Michael St. John selling there was like the worst.
And then he came back. He came back. That's what got us. He just acted like nothing happened.
Perfecto. All right. So. Least favorite promo of the year. This should be an interesting one. Josh?
I went with any Rob Van Zukowski promo.
Oh.
I went and found which shows that he started on again. Him and One Hung Low. Remember he was versing that guy?
Yes. We're going to talk about him in a minute.
And then, like, he had a couple different times where he was doing a promo and he was out of breath on one and he was really bland then. A match promotes the adrenaline level to go up. At least it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And he was out there like Brandon's background looks. He's just hostage situation, like very monotone, I think I can do this, Dave, blah, blah, blah. Like just. After the first one, I didn't understand why somebody didn't like just grab him. Like, look, you're gonna have to get animated or something. Act like you've done cocaine, please. Something. Not
I've
that
only done weed, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'd always think. He's just so mellow from the weed. Well, I'm gonna beat that guy up. So
hey, before we go to BT, I'm glad I was hoping this name was going to come up. So Rob Naylor, who's been great about promoting this show in the past few months. If you don't know who Rob Naylor is, if you watch the Samoa Joe Necro Butcher of Dark Side of the Ring this season, he's featured prominently in that episode. But he messaged me and said, hey, he put, love the USWA Rewind show. I often have it on my television, all the PG-13 and Brian stuff in particular. Y'all do an incredible job. Here's a fun tidbit while I have you here. Don Chow Mang was actually not Osamu Nishimura, which I know I slaughtered that name.
No,
he was actually Dango Guyan, who was a high school best friend of RVD's, who was also trained by the Sheik. Super deep cut, I know, but I understand the confusion. He also worked for NWA Wildside in the 2000s and sadly passed away a few years back. So, there you go. High school friend of Rob Van Dam's, Dung Chow Mang. And I couldn't remember that name without going back and watching an episode. So thanks for that information, Rob. You guys like Rob and Tony Myers and different people help fill in the blanks sometimes. And it's really cool to hear from you guys. And we appreciate it.
I had a date with young Chow Mang one night. So it was on the weekends. It was on the weekends. By
the way, take you out for some cream of some young guy?
A teaser on WTF. We have a retro moment with Rob Van Dam when he gets a concussion backstage at WWE. It's funny.
Maybe that was what was wrong with him. In those
It's
promos.
funny and scary at the same time. So yeah, it really is. So y'all watch out for that one. My least favorite promo. I'm gonna let y'all guess. Who do you think my least favorite is?
I'm sure it involves Jerry Lawler somewhere.
That's
along the
it.
way.
Jerry Lawler. Fuck him. I hate his promos this year. He was
Reggie
wearing
B?
some stupid ass shirt, and he was talking about Bob's Barbecue and the softball team. And,
So just all the promos of Jerry Lawler is what we're saying?
Yes, least favorite, all of them.
I was gonna guess where he would bring that guitar out, and then he would show all of the clips from like him.
Yeah, I guess that if you
getting
wanted
snubbed
one
by
promo,
Gaylord
it had to
Perry
be
or
that one.
whatever.
Yeah,
because they played it 4
Whoa.
different weeks, and that's when you turned.
I
on
did
Lawler.
turn.
I knew it was either going to be, and I hope this isn't stepping on Brandon's answer, but I knew for BT it was either going to be Jerry Lawler promos, take your pick, or the one Josh just said a moment ago, Reggie B. Because he was not enjoying the Reggie B promos either. So especially that Chub Rock one seemed to especially
Do you
go
know who
fast
Chub Rock
sideways.
is?
Dave, Chub Rock is an African-American gentleman who he does the rapping.
The rap music.
He I don't know any of the songs, but you know, he's
And then Dave was
then
all
Dave's
like, a matter of fact, I know
Yeah.
who Chub Rock is.
Dave's like,
Yeah, you
know
couldn't
Chub
find
Rock
two
is
whiter
dog?
people. Dave.
Dave Brown's like, don't let me cloud up and rain on your ass, Michael St. John. I know who the fuck Chub Rock is.
What you
Bitch.
listen to? Timmy Wynette?
I'm from Memphis.
when Reggie
You think I don't know who
B
Chub
asked
Rock
him
is? I live in Memphis, dog.
Maine.
Maine.
We in
Maine.
Memphis, Maine.
We nailed that one at the same time. Perfect. My least favorite promo, and maybe it's just because of the recency of it, the turkeyfication of Tony Falk. I hated everything about that whole segment.
Stop.
Good pick. Good
No.
pick. Oh,
Stop putting syrup all over me. Stop rubbing my nipples. Danny.
Quit, Tom. Quit.
Tom, that's who was, yeah. Tom was the one that was really massaging it in while
Yeah.
making uncomfortable eye contact with the camera.
that or when Valiant kissed Lawler on live television. Both of those made me feel uncomfortable big time.
Jimmy's like, Jimmy Valiant's like, yeah, I remember when you called me the F word back in the 70s. Here's your F word right here. And kisses him right on the mouth. All right, Brandon, what's your least favorite promo?
My least favorite would be Dog of War and Flea, the promo on Jimmy Valiant.
Come on.
The big one where he comes out and he's looking for Flea and freaking out, you know. That one was pretty rough. And then also there was the promo when she came back. Which was
Pretty much anything
equally as
involving
rough.
Flea.
Yeah.
And the Dog
Yeah.
of War, yeah.
Jimmy Valiant said, I swear to God, I would never talk to her daddy.
Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. If you know what I mean.
Well,
And I
oh,
think
that
you
was
do,
bad.
Daddy.
Woo. They had all those people out there saying they never seen Valiant. That was so odd. Oh,
It felt like how some of these court cases must have had to feel when some of these guys get accused of things, and all these other wrestlers come like, I've never seen him touch any young girls. Have you? No. And I always have young girls around all the time. I mean, no, I never have. Where's Ken? Anyway.
hey.
So next up will be the opposite of the least favorite promo, which would be, you guessed it, favorite promo. Josh.
I had to go with from the recently Lawler, Jeff Gaylord, and the Sandman thing. That was one of the greatest pieces of Memphis footage of all time. Like the sincerity of Gaylord, and he's so oblivious that he is like a legit 80s movie villain. And he's like the embodiment of all of the things that are bad and evil in those movies. And he loves himself so much. Like, I love that shit. And Sandman was so fucking just, and he was saying just shit like it was great. And Lawler just walked away after telling them they was going to get splinters in their ass from the sliding down the ladder of success. I love that shit.
And Corey's face just looks like, thanks a lot, Lawler, for sticking these assholes out here and locking away. Now I got to deal with them in there.
Oh God. Yeah, I laughed so fucking hard during that. I watched it so many times. It was great.
It pained me to miss that episode, knowing that promo was going to be there.
Yeah.
I had that as our clip of the week. I had to play the whole thing. I was like, I told these two guys last week, please tell me what the hell they're talking about, what he's talking about. And I want to just second it, Josh. That was but I'm going to go back. I'm going to go with the Bob Hope, Jeff Gaylord promo. That was my favorite one. I love the one from last week, but the whole deal where he showed the picture and they give all his stuff about him being a Missouri Tiger. And we come to find out we all believe he believed in the gimmick. He really did. He was a legit athlete. He was probably pampered during the whole time he was in college. And when he became a wrestler, he believed the gimmick. So, yeah, the Jeff Gaylord, Bob Hope promo was my favorite. So,
can I just shout out an honorable mention during that time period? Like, he got arrested, totally painted green, nude, on campus or some shit. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it was on that crime and sports episode I listened to. They got into that pretty heavy. God almighty. It's funny because, like, this is an example of why I hate that we watch the seasons out of order, because this stuff in 91 gives context to everything we saw and wondered about in 93. If we had seen these promos, all the 93 shit would have made perfect sense. We wouldn't have been taken by surprise by any of that. So I went a little different direction. And when I was thinking of this, like, what's my favorite promo? I thought about what promo, when I was making clips, that I go back and watch the most and laugh at every single time. And some folks may roll their eyes at this. I don't know. But I had more people send to my messenger on Facebook and email me asking, were these guys drunk? And that's the Eric Embry, Tom Pritchard, Cousin Harold promo. Cousin Harold. So many people. And I have no idea if they were or not, but I agree. It sure sounded like it. And it was the one week there that Pritchard didn't sound like Roddy Piper. Because I don't even know how Piper. Cousin Harold. But I don't know. That promo cracks me up. You could put it on right now and I would laugh, just because they say it so many times and just beat it to death through the whole thing. That's my favorite promo. Brandon?
Oh yeah, man. So my favorite is episode 114, the Lawler Sandman Gaylord promo as well. But I did have a backup because I was pretty certain somebody was gonna call that one out. So anyway, I think it was a good promo. Was the Dr. Tom Pritchard when he turned on Eric, or when he flipped with Eric Embry, when he takes on those Roddy Piper allegations and all that. Basically that killed the whole faction off. So I thought that was a really good promo, fired up promo out of Dr. Tom. Probably his best of the year, in my opinion.
I agree with that 100%. And it took me by surprise because I didn't know that he had ever. I didn't even really remember if he did it in shoot interviews as far as addressing the Roddy Piper thing, but I sure as hell didn't realize he addressed it on television.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah. And especially in that time frame. All right. Well, here's an interesting topic. Least favorite jobber or enhancement talent, if you're one of these people who considered the J word to be like the N word or something. But.
Oh, wow. I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise. Chris Frazier. I mean, I've said it so many times. He cannot make an ass whooping look good. Like, he looks clunky and uncoordinated. He looks like he's really not there, like knowing what to do. Like, it's you hit him and then he just kind of like, I don't know. There's like a certain level of sale you're supposed to do for certain things, and he just has that one mode of like barely any reaction. And even when you throw him to the outside, it's like he sucks taking those bumps, and it looks like it hurts, but for all of the wrong reasons.
I've never been so happy to see somebody take a guitar shot in all my life as that week where Billy Travis just goes in the ring and he doesn't even have a match. He just wraps that guitar around Chris Frazier's head. And you're like, God damn, that's the babyface turn of Billy Travis because he just saved us from sitting through a freaking Chris Frazier match. God bless you, sir. BT.
Oh man, I forgot about Chris. I I agree with you. Everything you said. I'm gonna go with TD Steele because he almost killed himself a couple times this year.
But he loves it.
I guess. He just got on my nerves, and then he showed up with those fucking pants on the referee. So, yeah, I hold that against TD Steele. So even though somebody went in his pants looking for a belt, but
racist. Okay, well that's cool. Yeah. I could turn this around and show you, but yeah, I had Chris Frazier as well. So I think there's not much of a defense against that one, Brandon.
I'd go with Chris Frazier as well. I had a couple of people written down. I didn't really have. This is probably my weakest choice. I didn't have a good answer for this one.
That's fair. Yeah, if BT hadn't picked the black guy, would have had a clean sweep. But I knew that. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, we'll get into that some other time about why TG is weird. TD still is weird as a jobber. But all right, well here we go. I have a feeling I think I know who some people's picks are, but I got to be honest. I had a different answer wrote down, and then as I got to kind of going back through the year a little bit, I was like, how the fuck did I miss this? So I changed my answer. What is your who was your favorite jobber of the year?
The Dazzler.
Okay. All right. Wasn't ready for that.
That motherfucker made, with the one match that I saw, that one clothesline. I mean, that was the damnedest thing that I had seen. And he made it look so natural. Like, I don't know if it was an accident or whatever, but if he could execute shit like that, he's fucking great. And like, I rewound it, played it in slow-mo, and I was like, holy shit. And he moved great in the ring. He is the polar opposite of Chris Frazier. He could take a marvelous ass whooping and make you look like $1 million fucking dollars. He was so great for that role.
Awesome. I'll have to tell him you said that. Well,
Dazzler Hayes.
Dazzler Hayes. He said that he was eating some humble pie during that match because he'd been wrestling for 10 years and was a local superstar until that match. So I've got to go with Fraser Thompson, even though he came out of the jobber type a little bit this year. But he's one of my favorite jobbers of all time. And this year, especially, we got a little bit more of him. And Fraser was a great guy. So I know that doesn't have anything to do with voting for him, but it's a plus there for me. So,
yeah, that was my pick as well. Because I think Fraser Thompson just that's like the most Memphis jobber of all time, just because he adopted that persona when it was appropriate, when Refrigerator Perry was a big deal. And that's such a Memphis thing to do. Like, whatever's hot in the media at the time, let's do something with it with a wrestling character. And then he just keeps it forever. Like by the time I wrestled him in the 2000s, like it was hard to even explain to a younger person who the fuck Refrigerator Perry was, much less explain why Freezer Thompson was a cool name. But man, I had totally forgotten until we got here, like so many things, of this little 91 experiment where we half-ass, not really push him, but quit jobbing him out completely for just a few weeks. And then he's thrust right back into jobber status all at one time, unceremoniously, if you will. So yeah, that's my pick. Brandon?
I had the same pick. Freezer was mine. We got the TV match with Lawler, like you said, and then, fell right back into it. But Tony Falk would be a good mention.
Yeah.
I think he, shined a little bit this year, a little more this year. Yeah.
And then they turkeyfy him and remind you, no, this is a jobber. Okay. Right. Make no mistake. Right. He may be hanging out with Eric Embry.
He's still a jobber.
Is a jobber at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one's going to be interesting. And to me, this was the most highly competitive one of all. Least favorite gimmick of the year in 1991.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to say Tagar. I really did. I truly did, because, you could view it however, but MC Slammer, that was fucking horrible.
Forgot about him.
I respected Brickhouse Brown so much at this point in time. And I remember watching this shit. When I was a kid, and I'm like, why the fuck is he trying to do this? Like, why not just be Brickhouse Brown? I understand wanting to reinvent yourself and be relevant or whatever, but the way he was rapping and it was offbeat and all that, he was doing a disservice to himself. And the crowd fucking just, it was like he was in goddamn the Saitama Super Arena or something. They were silent as fuck. Like they didn't, no reaction. I even heard a giggle after the rap. Like it was bad. Bad.
BT.
Yeah, that I saw that when I was going through my notes. I got to go with Digger. So Grave Digger with
what?
I got to go with that Digger. Grave Digger and Nate the Rat together. Least favorite gimmick. Maybe one of my least favorite gimmicks of all time. So Jesus, that was horrible.
So when I sat down and was going through these the other day, of course, Gravedigger came to mind. MC Slammer came to mind. I won't name any more to not step on Brandon's potential answer. We'll have some fun when we get to the honorable mentions on this one later. But for me, my absolute least favorite gimmick, perhaps in all of Memphis wrestling history, because it wasn't even fun like some of the others, and God knows he had my least favorite ring music, Spirit of America. I hated everything about this gimmick.
Didn't even think about that. That was so bad.
That damn music was awful, and just here's a guy that picks up trash. That's what he does to get over. He picks up trash, and I just no. What even in 91, the thought that anything about this character would be appealing as a baby face to anyone is beyond me. So that to me is hands down my least favorite gimmick. Brandon?
Man, I put down Tagar, but I'm going to change that to Nate the Rat. I'm going with BT on this. As soon as he said that, some of these I forgot. Man, there was so many bad gimmicks this year. Like I kept getting stuff from last year in my head. I had a rough time coming up with that one. But Nate the Rat, I think, takes the cake. I think that's probably my most annoying in the whole series up until now that we've watched both years.
I can agree with that. That was. And then we'll get to that in a minute, actually. But honorable mention, I will go ahead and say right now because it's not going to step on everybody's answer because everybody's answered. But Dragon Master was pretty high up there for me on terrible gimmicks as well.
Only thing saved him is he was with Bert for me. So.
Yeah. Boy, even with that, it was tough. Favorite gimmick. This is probably going to surprise some people. But I remember I liked this as a kid. I found it fascinating that this guy was being a wrestler as a kid. And even now, when he popped up this year, considering the team that he was on, I thought it was kind of perfect. Leatherface was my favorite gimmick of 91.
Right. What about you, Josh?
Mine too. That's literally my answer. Like I was so into this, like the whole promo video they gave where he's like chasing the woman trying to get the car started on the dirt road. Like I love that little mini movie thing that they made. I watched it over and over as a kid. And, the unmasking thing, that was tragic. I, still harbor bad feelings, but it doesn't matter. I loved everything about it. It was just, scared me as a kid, man.
I had a Leatherface down too. It was had to do with those the selling, I think, of the first match and how big he was and the chainsaw. It was scary as fuck, especially if I would have been 9 or 10 years old. And the video that they did, I asked y'all when we was doing I said that was from the movie, right? No, they went out of their way to make their own mini movie. So Leatherface is my favorite gimmick too.
Brandon?
Man, this is one of those that I think I went the wrong direction on. What I've got is the whole is Eric Embry. The whole chicken shit heel. I mean, he was my main player for the year. I don't know why, man. I really enjoyed Embry this year. He's been my favorite. overall.
I got a feeling we'll be talking about Embry more as we move along.
And my honorable
believable,
was,
you know.
yeah.
Go ahead.
You was right on, Brandon, because my honorable was the Texas gimmick, the whole gimmick with Embry and everything. That was my, that was my honorable mention. But yeah, I think we were, especially me coming from dirt sheets, was pleasantly surprised in Eric Embry. Tons, and we heard so many bad things from so many wrestlers that worked during that time about how bad. But man, like he said, I think his name's gonna come up a couple more.
Yeah, there's a couple more topics here that'll probably lean into that pretty heavily. I got, I kind of wondered the time they put into Leatherface, and especially that video that you guys mentioned. I feel like either Embry was a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Lawler was too, and maybe that's the one area where maybe they bonded on something and put a lot of work into something together. Because so many of those gimmicks just feel like thrown together and like, hey, what if we did this? And they just but it took some time to put that together, and especially to the point that it looks good enough that, BT's like, was that from the movie? And it did look like a scene from one of the movies. It was really well done. And that wasn't always the case with these Memphis videos like that. Sometimes they looked exactly like what they were, some shit they threw together, the afternoon before the taping or whatever. So, so we got favorite gimmick. All right. Least favorite manager / valet.
Ronnie P. Gossett.
Oh,
total just fat tub of shit. No fucking.
I should have knew this was coming.
No redeeming qualities, and he's a good shoot interview because he's telling the truth about being a piece of shit. And it translates on camera too. And whenever he came back and he was being a baby face with Fuller and Jarrett. That took away so much more. It made me hate the whole we're going to split the team and Fuller and Jarrett triumph again shit that they had going on. I mean, it really brought it down.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about him.
It was bad. I got to go with Nate the Rat. Rest in peace, Nate, but that was god-awful, buddy. It was least favorite manager right there.
That was mine too. And there were other times in Memphis wrestling history that I didn't mind Nate the Rat, but boy,
I agree.
The delivery and the look, everything about this was a hard no for me. Brandon?
Yeah. I would probably agree with you guys, but again, I didn't think about Nate the Rat. I would say Samantha or Flea. Probably Samantha was. She really was annoying to me this year. I know you got a thing for her, BT, and I'll give it to you later on in Power Pro, but right here it wasn't for me.
That's
I like this version. She has more weight, so yeah.
She ain't 280. She ain't a lady.
That's right, baby. Woo!
There's our next t-shirt.
Y'all are all laughing, but y'all know that shoot too, right?
I was gonna say that's our next shirt at the store, and BT will be ordering that before the.
I'm using that at work tomorrow.
I'll be damn if I.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. She ain't 280. She ain't a lady.
Y'all forgot. Y'all forget I'm smarter than that.
Dear Lord. Yeah, we'll come back around to honorable mention on the managers and valets in a little bit. Favorite manager or valet of the year?
Honey Love, honey. That motherfucker showing up, and the Mr. Lawler, Mr. Lawler, and then he gave a history lesson. That was so important to me as a kid. I ate that shit up, and dude, from that moment on, Bert was my guy. As far as managers go, and he was so entertaining as a kid. And you said it. If it wasn't for Bert Prentice or Honey Love, Chris Love, as they referred to him sometimes, the Dragon Master wouldn't have been shit. And that was Bert's, I think it was Eugene that called him Bert's avatar. That was the way to get the belt on Bert without literally putting it on Bert. Then it was perfect.
we need a feud with Lawler and Honey Love, but we can't justify putting the belt on Honey Love, so we got this 8-foot nothing that we can put in a box and hide him in a box and put the belt on him for a couple of weeks just so they can do these promos. And
we got to find those matches he did in Wing, boy. I got to see that guy with wrestling. Jesus, he was horrible.
Yeah. I think I found a couple of those on YouTube.
Yeah, we gotta do a ride along with one of those, boy. My manager was Tojo. I loved him having the Texas flag, the hat, the whole 9 yards. I just love Tojo in this role. Always was a fan of Tojo, and even when he's this old, in my mind, he could whip somebody's ass. And since he had a flagpole in his hand, he could do any more. So, yeah, my manager was Tojo.
I don't know. This may be a surprise to some, may not be to others if they even remember that she was a manager for a brief time. But Miss Texas, when she come out there and Lawler slapped her down to the freaking ground.
Hey, was that her debut too?
Yes.
So we had her debut, we had Burt Prentice's debut, and Richard Lee's. All 3 managers.
Yep.
Big in Memphis history, boy.
And another one that I'm going to mention, I'm going to let Brandon go, and if he doesn't mention this guy, and I feel like he's not going to, I'm going to mention another one, and it's who I labored over between who I was going to say my pick was.
All right, okay.
Brandon?
My pick was Honey Love, and if that was picked, which it was, my backup was Tojo. So I think we touched on both of those.
There you go.
But yeah,
I'm sure they appreciate being touched on. Speaking of touched on, in the mix also was Dirty White Girl for me. But my other pick, if I didn't go with Miss Texas, was going to be the short-lived heel version of Jamie Dundee as a manager early in '91, managing Steve Austin.
About that.
Yeah, I forgot.
Dirty White Boy and those guys.
I was going through the Mid-Side Coliseum from '91, and it says Steve Austin, and then I was like, Steve Austin, and then I was like, oh yeah, right. I forgot all about some of that stuff. Yeah.
And then he showed up on Power Pro yesterday, sort of. Not exactly, but sort of. All right. So there we are. Favorite valet manager.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia. If you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Wrestling with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, and of course all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. Don't be left out. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about Patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Check out Kayfabe Cave. We are a destination for wrestling fans. Come see our museum area featuring ring-worn memorabilia and collectibles. We carry figures, cards, belts, and much more. We take pride in bringing you the rarest and most unique meet and greet opportunities. Please follow us on social media at Kayfabe Cave. Remember, keep it kayfabe.
The same boring wrestling podcast. Need something with attitude, chaos, and maybe just a little cussing. That's stspod.club, and we got it all covered. We got wrestling weirdness with WTF News Desk, 5-minute time limit, and the Southern fried brain of me, BT, steering the whole ship. We also have rolling into Memphis every week about the current Memphis wrestling. Interviews, hot takes, and wrestling outrageousness so wild it might get you banned in 12 states. That's right, it's sdspod.club, or search all podcast catchers for Shooting the Shiznit, where wrestling podcasts grow chest hair. Not sure what that meant. Love my mama.
Least favorite feud of the year.
The Barroom Brawlers and Fuller and Jarrett. I hated that whole old-timey saloon set up in the ring and all that shit. I hated everything about it. And you know, them coming back under the mask and all that bullshit. That was okay. I feel guilty critiquing that because that was like the only redeeming thing about this whole thing. But everything else, I just thought setting up the bar room thing was so cheesy. And even back then,
a little too on the nose there.
I was just so uninterested in it.
I'm the opposite. That's the reason I didn't vote for him, because I loved the setup of the bar room in the ring. I loved that. My least favorite feud, and it surprised me that Josh didn't say this, was Embry against Pritchard. I did not want them to turn Pritchard. And like Josh said, it was the end of that part of them being a team, and the end of the part really of Texas. But that was just, there was no heat there. There was no excitement. There was, oh my God, Pritchard turn. I just thought it was executed really bad, and I just couldn't get into it.
They wasn't into it either.
No.
Yeah. That was my honorable mention, but my pick for least favorite feud, it got touched on earlier, Dog of War versus Jimmy Valiant.
Oh,
I mean, it was a whole ass feud that went for over a month to 6 weeks that Jimmy Valiant doesn't even show up for until the last week. It's
He
just
had
him coming
no
out there.
idea.
And
Yeah,
he's got
it's just
to
him coming out there every week looking for Flea and blaming Jimmy Valiant, and you know.
But when Valiant showed up, they had to have like Fuller, Jarrett Lawler, and Eddie Marlin out there to like basically walk him through what had happened because he had no fucking clue.
I wouldn't have sex with her, but I would kiss Jarrett Lawler. So there you go. I don't know if I've ever said that. Well, on the weekend I did, but yeah.
Well,
if anybody except Lawler, but
we certainly know Flea was a lady because she was every bit of 280. So
hell yeah.
least favorite feud for you, Brandon?
I'm gonna go with Lawler and the Dragon Master. I also had Dog of War, but that was my backup. It was rough. That being said, Honey Love and Lawler is definitely high on my feud list. Oddly enough, but the Dragon Master thing, I couldn't get into that. Even as a child, I don't think I would have liked that.
Yeah. All right. So the polar opposite of that, what was your favorite feud, Josh?
Tennessee versus Texas. I mean, it was one of the first deals that I could remember where, you know, it was different than good guys and bad guys. It was Tennessee versus Texas. And, you know, they made it about that. It was almost like a sports team type thing. And I loved how they would just even when Eddie Gilbert, I'm pretty sure he was half-ass heel. And it was like, but you're from Tennessee, so we need you on this team to help us out. I love that part of it, man. And it lasted for a better part of 8 months, and then the end with Embry versus Pritchard. But man, it was a great ride. Good TV.
Yeah, Texas versus Tennessee. I got an honorable mention, but I'll keep Texas versus Tennessee also. I love that. Love the whole feud.
That was mine as well, and I guess it won't hurt to say this now. My honorable mention for favorite promo was what we deemed the Tennessee roll call promo with Fuller, Danny Davis, Dundee, and everybody setting up that big 8-man tag team match they had. But yeah, hands down for me, Texas versus Tennessee. Brandon?
Same here. I narrowed it down a little bit further, and the Jarrett and Embry part of that feud early in the year was, hey man, I'm a big Jeff Jarrett fan. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and say that now, man. I'm a mark for Jarrett. Maybe not as much back then, but I do. I like Jarrett. I thought that was better than the Lawler Embry portion of the feud. I thought it was more enjoyable, believable. Yeah.
I have to say, now that everybody's answered, I did labor over this for a couple of days. Like this one, I had like 3 different categories that stayed blank until last night, and this was one of them because I was going back and forth between Texas versus Tennessee, and ultimately it won out because of the longevity of the feud and what it meant for the promotion overall. But favorite feud just in general, to me, Dundee and Danny Davis.
Yes,
I love
had
that
it wrote
feud,
down
the
too.
promos, and
tremendous.
That's awesome.
What really won out in the end is we didn't get to. I mean, the promos were great, but we didn't get to see any of the matches on TV.
Yeah,
and
it seemed like it ended really fast. That was my backup as well, but I thought it was just too short.
Yeah, it just kind of they come out and just kind of made up one day after the whole Japan trip was over and all that. It was like, oh yeah, we got to put a bow on this. Hey, you good? I'm good. All right, cool. We'll tag next week. And then I
thought it was good that, and we always said that Emery was so detailed, and you got Dundee and Davis. They probably were detailed too, riding together in a car with the but when they came back, they even made reference to it. So that's what I really liked about it. Yeah. And it's 2 of the best guys ever in the ring, especially in the Memphis wrestling history, those 2 guys. So yeah, big fan.
So that leads us to our next one, and this should be interesting. Least favorite tag team, Josh.
I went with the Goon Squad with Boss Winners. Just the orange scrubs, Boss Winners, just making that weird promo, and he's out there talking like a boss, presenting himself like a boss. Then he's got these 2 jackoffs and scrubs. Like I hated it as a kid, and I still hate watching the shit now.
And wasn't it determined the 2 jackoffs and the scrubs were Jamie and Gary Valiant?
Yes, the first 2.
Okay.
First 2 until they, yeah.
All right, BT.
My least favorite was Josh has already mentioned these guys. He said it was okay that they came back in mask, and I hated that. I was like, there's got to be another tag team in this damn area that Fuller and Jarrett can feud against, except for the Barroom Brawlers. And we talked about it when they brought them back, that they must have been good hands. They must have showed up for all of the matches. They must have not bitched about the pay. They did work for ICW before that, so that might be the reason they didn't bitch about the pay. But yeah, most of the time I love the whole mask gimmick where you bring somebody back. We just went through the whole angle on 87 with BT Express, Billy Travis putting a mask on, and I always loved that. Midnight Rider, loved that, but God, that just was horrible to me. So yeah, Texas Outlaws.
So this is another one I labored over, and I switched. There were 2 tag teams. I switched their names out a couple of different times throughout the week. Then last night I finally settled on who I was going with, because ultimately this was just a tag team that I was just like, ugh. Every time they were on screen, Bart Sawyer and Doug Masters. I fucking hated everything they did, from the tag team to the turn. I'll say who the other team is after Brandon answers, because I don't think this is going to be his team, but we'll see. What was your least favorite, Brandon?
No, mine was Texas Hangman and Barroom Brawlers as well.
I struggled with not saying the super team of Jeff Gaylord and the Mask, not the Sandman, because boy, I don't like that team either. But in the end,
we had so much fun with the Supermains.
My contempt for Masters and Sawyer won out.
Bartman, come on, man.
All right,
Bartman,
so
Josh.
tag team of the year or favorite tag team of the year. You can add or remove that word. It's the same difference, I guess. Josh,
Embry and Pritchard, like,
all right.
dude, from early on, they were like acting different than most people in Memphis at that point. Whenever they showed up, it was total chaos. It was beating everybody up. The pile driver off of the second rope that's been mentioned, that was during all of this tandem. Like, they were just acting crazy and beating everybody up, and eventually worked their way up to Lawler and close to the top of the food chain. I loved everything that they did, and I just, it tore me up that they broke up. Like, it did not compute, and I did not look at Memphis wrestling exactly the same after that, because I got pissed off. Why would you? Yeah, I liked good guys and bad guys, but even back then I was like, what the hell? Why would this happen? It's just weird. And now I know why as an adult.
Right. BT?
Man, I got to go with Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett, one of the greatest tag teams in Memphis wrestling history. You listen to Dave Brown talk about them, you'll figure it out. So, yeah, love Robert Fuller and Jeff Jarrett, and had a fun time with them this year, even though they was breaking up, got back together. I really love Fuller and Jarrett, so my team.
I said you can take that word out or put it in, but I think whether it's there or not doesn't matter. If you're going to say tag team of the year, I guess you kind of have to say Jarrett and Fuller based on the way they were booked. But for me, my favorite tag team of the year, just for the novelty of these two guys being together as heels in 1991, as briefly as it may have been, and the fact they had Jim Cornette there with them, the heel fabulous ones from early.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wins out as my favorite tag team of the year. Brandon?
Mine was the Fabs as well. They weren't there long enough. I would say Jarrett and Fuller probably had a lot more TV time. Obviously, that would probably be my pick. But yeah, the Fabs were my honorable mention because they weren't there long enough.
All right, so then that brings us to least favorite wrestler of the year, and this one might be interesting as well.
The Spirit of America. like you said before, Gene, the fucking music, his stupid ass tassels, him trying to be Lord Humongous before, him stupid Midwestern accent. He's comes off as a prick, and the whole idea of get with your family during the weekends and pick up parks and trash. Oh, that sounds fun. That motherfucker was instantly a heel with me.
Wouldn't have got my fat ass out there doing that. So there you go.
BT.
Man, Josh, you got, like you said, add that humongous with it and Spirit of America. And, Bruno said something in his interview this past weekend that people go out and do what they're told to do. So I guess he went out and did what he was told to do, kind of thing. But yeah, he was on my list, but I have to go. God, I hated this with Gravedigger and Nate together as a favorite. He was my least favorite thing to watch on television, just because I was just like, it's not just kind of like The Undertaker. It is The Undertaker. So it was that bad for me. I just absolutely hate the promos, the videos. I know y'all remember Nate stumbling over words and him not cutting it out for 3 weeks. So it was the same promo that he messed up on. And then those videos that they had for Gravedigger were just horrible. So, yeah, least favorite thing, I want to say the least favorite thing to watch all year long, 1991 was Gravedigger.
Yeah, not an ounce of subtlety to that for sure.
No.
So it's funny. Josh kind of had mine because I narrowed mine down to Randy Lewis, because I hated Spirit of America, but as much as I hated Spirit of America, and this ain't necessarily his fault, but the humongous thing, the whole aspect of showing those videos of Sid as humongous and then immediately showing us this guy who's half as tall and a spray painted Halloween
rat tail
hockey mask with a rat tail, and then he's out there getting seduced by Samantha to set up a feud with Bull Payne. And it's just all that was awful. And I'm sure Randy Lewis is a wonderful person, or was, if he's not with us anymore. Nothing against him, because ultimately, like Bruno said to BT, he was going out there doing. I can't believe you'll never convince me that the guy showed up and goes, "Hey man, I want to do that. I want to do that humongous gimmick that Sid used to do." And like, all right, dude, yeah, that'd be great. And then when that doesn't work out, he leaves for a few weeks, and then he flies back to Memphis and goes, all right, I know the humongous thing didn't work. Dig this. I think this could be the biggest babyface thing of all time. What if we called myself Spirit of America? They're like, well, okay. But I go out to parks and I pick up trash. Picking up trash. Yeah. Well, we'll try to convince kids to go pick up trash, clean up the parks. It'll get over with cities. Like, we can play that up when we go to buildings. Like, hey, he's gonna, you're gonna have to clean up after the show, because these kids are gonna clean up trash, because Spirit of America is gonna teach them how. Little spirits are gonna be out there picking up trash. It's gonna be absolutely tremendous. Kids are gonna love it. I got this cool song I'm gonna come out to that they've been hearing. They probably heard it in grade school back in the day at some point.
Oh man, it was bad.
And to really drive it home, I'm gonna tote around a 55-gallon fucking red, white, and blue drum. I'm gonna carry it to the ring, and sometimes I'm gonna put people in it. Like, so you're gonna have to take people out before. No, we're gonna put it in the ring. After the match, no, we're gonna have it in the ring during the match. Like during the match, yeah, people won't notice. We'll have a 55-gallon drum in the corner, and I'll pick up and stuff Tony Falk in there, and they're like, oh, if you're gonna put Tony Falk in a trash can, we're doing this gimmick. Sign it up, it's happening. Yeah, if you're gonna humiliate Tony Falk, we'll do pretty much anything. So that's my theory of how that had to happen. No,
we'll slime him up with maple syrup first, so he slides in there.
He'll slide in, and ants will get him, and that'll be hilarious. My thing is, I just wish we could know whose idea this was. Was this Eric Embry's burnout and like, hey man, hey Tom, I'm gonna suggest it. Hey, remember Humongous? Oh, Rat Tail. What if we told Jerry Jarrett we bring him in, and we can't call him the Patriot because Pedicino's got some fucking. He used to be a damn highway patrolman in the AWA, but now he's a Patriot. We'll call him the Spirit of America, and he's gonna carry a trash can around with him and throw trash away, and he's gonna throw my driver in there. Tony Falk. I'm bringing him in. He's going to be my driver. That sounds crazy. I love it. Let's do it. Everybody thought you being Piper wasn't going to work, but hell, it's getting over great, man.
That's
91 USWA, folks.
Gotta love it.
Who is your least favorite wrestler, Brandon?
Mine was the Dragon Master. That was just terrible on all fronts, man. It was awful. I mean, in the ring and everything. So.
My honorable mention was Jerry Lawler. So there you go.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Believe it or not, mine honorable mention that I went back and forth on, even though everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Reggie B. Fine. Back then, later on, I hated the Candyman. Like, who thought that was a good idea for Reggie? I mean, okay, let's have a gimmick where somebody goes out. Randy Lewis as the Candyman probably would have gotten over better.
Yeah.
Reggie had just been there managing Awesome Kong like 3 months prior, and now he just shows up as the Candyman. No setup, no turn. He's just all of a sudden he's here as the Candyman, and
he went to church, Gene.
Yeah, he went to church too.
He did have that awesome backstory that made that
sense.
Same
kid. Is this the year that we had? And we're talking about promos, and we're getting to the rest of the year, so I wanted to throw this in. One of my favorite promos was the Steve Keirn promo where he was mad that he was late. Steve Keirn was supposed to be in the main event, was supposed to be in the first match, and he wasn't there, so they did somebody else. And then he comes in at and you can just tell he's so pissed because he wanted to be on TV, but they started it early. So he is just so pissed. That was this year, right?
Yeah, that was this year. And he does the promo about he had walked outside and there was a little kid in the parking lot came up to him. We're like, the show, we're halfway through the show. What little kid was hanging around in the parking lot? And why was he talking to you? Like,
Keirn was so angry, man. The whole time he was here, he was so angry.
Yeah. even after he wasn't a heel anymore, he was still angry.
Ooh.
And, oh God. Yeah. I was just thinking about well, we'll get to that in a minute. All right, so now we're ready for the favorite wrestler of the year. And so this should be interesting. I kind of got an idea, but Josh, who was your favorite wrestler of the year for 1991?
Eric Embry.
There it
I
is.
mean, good God. You think about what 91 would have been without Eric Embry on multiple levels. Like, he's booking most of the year. He comes in and becomes the number one heel for most of the year. And he's shown us reviewing this because I knew that, you know, I was a huge Eric Embry fan. I always, even as a kid, I was like, I like that motherfucker as a bad guy. He's ruthless and this and that. I didn't understand, I don't guess, subconsciously why I liked him so much. And then he's shown that he can be a chicken shit. He can make you believe he's ruthless. He can make you, you know, feel all these different range of emotions. And it's like it's natural to him. That is an art that most wrestlers do not possess. They got one, they may have two of those qualities, but Eric Embry has all of that different range of, I can be this guy, I can be that guy, I can be your best baby face, I can be the best fucking heel, and no matter what I do, people are gonna fucking believe it. That is a quality that you just can't teach. It's in that motherfucker. And you know, I'm not even gonna get started on his booking, because we heard about, you know, from different interviews and stuff from wrestlers having to work for him, like bashing his booking and this and that. But we saw reviewing this shit for almost the entire, you know, for the year, almost the entire time. It's good shit. Like, and people like Bart Sawyer said, Bart Sawyer's the Bart man. People have bad days. You know, Eric Embry had some bad days booking, but for the most part, it was great. And that's why 91 is my favorite fucking year in Memphis wrestling. But in the most part, it's Eric Embry to thank.
Yeah, everything Josh said. I think it, you know, I always thought Eric was a solid worker, but got a lot of, you know, when it came to dirt sheets, they talk, because he was not the typical wrestler. And there's some people that didn't like Eric, as we learned. You know, a lot of people have bad things to say about him, but man, we loved that booking. We really did. When he was full steam ahead doing all the little details and stuff. And I'd love to talk to him about that, because I really enjoyed his booking. And every week, even to the thing with CJ, I loved all of that. I was there to listen to Eric Embry, and there's nobody else that was on the screen in 1991 that deserved it more than that. And it's Eric Embry, wrestler of the year.
Yeah, this is another one where I changed my answer back and forth for 2 or 3 days, and I landed on Embry because ultimately, and I'll say who the other one was after Brandon goes in a minute, but ultimately, if you remove Eric Embry from 1991 USWA, it's a different. We don't know if it's good, if it's better or worse, or what it would be, but it'd be a completely different territory, a different show. I mean, he shaped everything, whether, you know, he was able to have complete, you know, booking influence, or if it started getting fucked with along the way, what changed. Because granted, everything about it was better for the first 6 or 7 months, and then it starts to wane as the year goes on, but you don't know what, you know, factors went along with that. Because I do know, hearing him in interviews and things, over time people started interfering and fucking with him.
Well, we saw the influence of Lawler big time. When the switch was turned, every one of us knew that his power was, he was giving some of it to Lawler because of all the fucking gimmicks. So
yeah, because, you know, everybody's favorite angle was Texas versus Tennessee, but it's Eric Embry versus Tennessee. It's Eric Embry versus Memphis. You know,
right.
He was the centerpiece of all that, and everybody else could have been interchangeable. Now, I think you can't understate Tom Pritchard's role in that. I think he was very good at playing his part. I think, like to Josh's point, is in being tag team of the year. They gelled and like they were very good together, especially those weeks when they were pile driving everybody and the Cousin Harold stuff and all that. You wanted to see those guys get their ass kicked because they're just being such believable shitheads. That it was great. But again, if you take Eric Embry out of 1991, it's a completely different year. And I don't think it would have been as successful because it would have been more. And hey, everybody knows, I love Eddie Gilbert and guys like that, but you would have fell back into your Eddie Gilberts. You might have even had to bring like Austin Idol or Tommy or somebody in, and those guys are great, but it's more of the same. This was totally different than anything that we had seen in Memphis before or after. And I think that's what makes this year stand out so much is it was just a completely different feel, and it united the Tennessee fans against the Texas fans. It gave it, I know we talked about this at different times over the year, but it gave it almost a college football type vibe, that whole us against them. It wasn't just like, hey, you picked your favorite. Hey, we're Lawler fans. We're Jarrett fans. It's all of us. And then like, oh, Eddie Gilbert's an asshole. Well, he's from Tennessee. We're getting behind him. Dirty White Boy. He's from Tennessee. We're getting behind him. Robert Fuller. Woo, can't usually trust that guy, but by God, he's the Tennessee stud. We know we can trust him against Texas, and it made all that work. And so, what a year. What a feud. Brandon, who was yours?
There's nothing left to say. It was Eric Embry on every reason you just stated and everybody else stated. If you take him out of the equation, I think the whole season falls apart. Yeah, I mean, that was my favorite. I've been harping on Eric Embry since the show started. So
my only other choice, and I think Brandon, you'll probably co-sign this. My only other choice would have been potentially Jeff Jarrett, just because I think 91 was a breakout year where Jeff Jarrett kind of established himself. We talked about him laying these chair shots in and taking ass whoopings. And he kind of went from, well, he's the promoter's son. He's in a role because he's a promoter's son where he kind of proved himself. It's like, this son bitch is pretty tough. Like, he can get this shit out. He can take it. Fans are rallying behind him, not just because his name's Jarrett, but because he's having good matches. He's giving great promos.
Right.
God, what an odd couple. When you first paired him and Robert Fuller together the first year, you're just like, Robert Fuller and Jeff, this will be one of them 2-week deals where this odd couple pairs up for this specific feud. And then Robert will either leave and go somewhere with his brother, or he'll join Texas or some shit. But this ain't going to work. And man, they're rocking on into 92 and we're over as hell. And, I really think this was a pivotal year for 91's the pivotal year for Jeff Jarrett, the way 92 is going to be the pivotal year for Brian Christopher. But when I looked at it through the lens of, all right, you could have pulled Jarrett out of 91, it wouldn't have changed a lot. Somebody else would have done D, or somebody else would have dropped into that role with Robert Fuller, and we'd have rocked on. It still would have been an Eric Embry-centric year. So to me, that's what made the decision for me that, it's hands down, it's got to be Eric Embry. So there you go. That's the awards. Any other I know that kind of went on longer than I thought it would, but that's fine. It was some good discussion there. I think we kind of covered everything. I had kind of had a breakdown of the whole year here month by month, but I don't think we really got time to go through it. But is there any feuds or matches or anything in particular from 91 that's memorable that we haven't touched on throughout the awards that you guys kind of want us to kind of touch on before we move past it?
I had wrote down TV match of the year. I guess it could be match of the year because everything's on TV that we watch, but it was that Lawler Kamala match. I thought that was one of the better matches that we ever in the last couple of years that we've seen on TV. Lawler Kamala match was a arena match. Is what it was. They went the whole time, did all the good stuff, and Lawler. I mean, it was just an excellent match. We were all big on that match. But yeah, that's the only other thing. I think everything else that I had, Josh kind of touched on it. Because WTF also put all the bad gimmicks. Every time we saw another bad gimmick, I was like, what the fuck are they thinking? But mainly with and I've already mentioned this, but the digger gimmick, I just could not do that. So
to me, like, initially Tagar was my what the fuck moment, just because all right, we know, yeah, Gravedigger sucks, but we know what the fuck. They're trying to create their own Undertaker. Failing miserable, but that's the goal. But Tagar's just one of those head scratching, like, what the fuck is this? Who thought this was a good idea? Who thought this would get over? Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, beyond the words of Corey Maclin, like, wow. Like, this is something that could only happen in it's like this is the most Memphis thing ever. But then again, it's Memphis, so you just kind of go like, all right, it's just one of those turds they threw at the wall and it didn't stick, and they just moved on. You know, they tried him for a couple of weeks, didn't work. They had Lawler beat him on TV, and then we moved on, and that's what we've established over the years.
did we ever decide, Gene, who that was?
Not officially.
I didn't think so.
Everything that I could find is just some random journeyman guy. I forget the guy's name, but it's not anybody you would know, remember.
Right.
What I remember, it was an older guy that I had never heard of.
That was so B-movie-ish. It was like something out of I mean, you know, I like B-movies, but I didn't like it on my wrestling. And so it was just really, I thought it was bad, but it was Jerry Lawler. It just felt so much like Lawler. All these gimmicks were just, you know, Spirit of America. I'd really like to talk to Eric Embry about that to see whether that was his idea or was it Lawler's idea. And, you know, we had somebody tell us that Lawler had the Leatherface suit in the back of his car, and every time they needed somebody, he just said, here you go, kind of thing. So
yeah, because early in the year it was a big deal, and then towards the end of the year we can tell he's just a match on the card on Monday nights, an opening or second match, and it's like, hey, throw Leatherface on somebody. And it was Ken Raper at that point, you know, that we're just, all right, you're Leatherface this week. And it was just a nothing thing. But anything else, guys, that we want to throw in there?
Sorry, I didn't come on this episode like BT did last year with my tits out. I really wanted to. I didn't think that was a good first impression.
It sets a hell of a tone, though.
It does.
It did. I watched that episode when I was doing my research. Did
you look at their reaction? That's the only thing. It was all about the pop. Sorry about that, Smokey. I know.
Smokey showed back up. I was like, no. He's like, I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen. I had notes to say that we could not mention the referee who shall not be named for that very reason.
We had problems yesterday mentioning his son. I think
his son got in the comments. BT immediately started stripping, like, whoa, it's Junior. You can't do that. That's the rule. So as we're heading into 92, the Moondogs are here. Richard Lee's here. They split the team, and now they're back together. Fuller and Jarrett are back in full swing. The heel turn of Brian Christopher's almost 100% complete. They're still kind of hokey pokeying with it a little bit. We'll see as we get to the first episode of January 92, but he's getting ready to go full tilt on that. Anything you guys want to say about 92 before we go? And we have someone watching along in the background. Does he want to come on and say anything about 91, or are you just watching? He says no. Okay. Just sure.
I'm not even remembering. I've not done any research. I plan to do a little bit more research than I did this time because I want to get all my observer notes ahead of time. But I'm just excited about, we did it weird. I didn't have any control over 93. Then we went 91. But with putting 92 right smack in the middle, and we know everything that happened in 93, everything that happened in 91, it's going to be fun to see. You keep talking about Brian Christopher. I'm excited about that. I forgot to mention that USWA did get 2 awards, only 2, in the Wrestling Observer Yearbook that year. They got best on interview. Number 5 was Jerry Lawler. So apparently the Observer readers were not watching the show. The number 1 was Ric Flair. Then we had Arn Anderson, Paulie Dangerously, and Jake Roberts. Lawler was in there with that. Oh, God, no. And worst promotion was UWF, number 1, number 2, WCW. You can tell they hated WCW then. Number 3 was USWA. Then we had WWF and IWCCW, number 5. Guys, that's a horrible promotion, but one of my guilty pleasures. I loved watching those tapes of IWCCW. So, but yeah, Herb Abrams, UWF being number 1, I get.
Yeah,
but you know, and the thing about
that's my guilty pleasure. Like I like watching it, but I'm never gonna. That's not the battle I'm going to choose with anybody to defend.
Right. Yeah, I tell you what, UWF, that was damn good.
That's good stuff. I mean, who needs finishes in the main event ever?
And that IWA that we keep talking about with Willie the Wrestling Clown, my God, that's so fun to watch.
That's going to be one of our deep dive. Once we wrap up,
we'll have to do
Ozark
that.
Mountain, the IWA is going to be coming along somewhere along the way.
Is that the one with Jack Reynolds?
No, I don't think Jack Reynolds is on that. This is out
This
of Nashville, Max Payne.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one from the 70s.
Oh, the old stuff. No, this is like a weird 1989 Nashville promotion. That's for the time period it's very strange because it's very like it feels like a comedy promotion in 89, but then you'd have like Ricky Morton would show up on there. It's where Richard Lee started out. Lighting's terrible. Like it's hard to watch those shows just because the ring's not lit worth a shit. So it's like you're watching somebody's old. Like, here's some VH tapes of my matches when I wrestled in Tennessee back in 89.
Exactly.
But it's from TV. It's got commentary over it, and you're like struggling to see people and shit. But the promos are something to behold for sure.
Talk about B-movie. That was
yeah.
I'm going to say something, and probably Brandon's the one. Hastings used to have $5 for 5 days, 5 movies. Yep. And I'd get the worst movies ever. One week I'd do karate movies. One week I'd do black movies. One week I'd do, Hey, I'm just telling the truth. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, that's what it reminded me of.
I loved you had a black movie week. Like that was your goal that week, was to consume black movies.
Dolomite and all those kind of movies.
Hopefully the internet wasn't around.
I'm glad you clarified exactly what kind of black movies you're referring to.
For one week.
Roots. Color Purple,
I almost said Mississippi Burning, but I didn't. That didn't even get a pop.
He watches that at Christmas every year.
Wah, wah.
Oh Lord!
I am not a racist. I only play one on here, guys. You know that.
This gimmick.
You may go over the stuff and things. Are we going to do that today? All right. I didn't know whether we'd do it today or not. Man, I gave it to Gene yesterday about 30 minutes before we did our Power Pro, but we had a fun conversation with Bruno, and Bruno was just brutally honest about what he thought about Power Pro. And even though he is friends with Randy, he was honest about it. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it, Gene, but he gives his thoughts on that.
I haven't yet.
But for him putting himself, right in the middle of things. We also did CWA on Sunday. It's 1987. Me and Steve Crawford. I'm having fun with that. We always put out Power Pro on the audio field on Monday. Thursday's special episode is WTF this week. And that's it on stspod.club. Right-hand corner link of all links. And I got a question for Josh when I get through talking about P3 Radio. I even was limited to only 1 minute last week. I just want you to know that, Gene. He stuck with it. Duke did. So
go Duke. You're the man.
Started out with Josh helping someone move. Wife's best friend and husband. They found out that big girls are like moving people that don't prep the move. I write all this stuff down. I can't remember why I said it. I'm sorry, but Richard talks about his dog's dick way too much. Way too much.
It's his entire comedic persona.
That's what I was gonna say. Like in general, or in this episode?
Yeah, in general.
In
Hey,
life.
Josh had to go back home because he forgot the rock. Josh poured gas all over himself and decided not to kill himself. Josh does not do good with soap. He doesn't really know what to do with soap.
I do good with it when it's available. That was the problem.
Richard's a good Samaritan because he went to the gym.
Fried a dude's battery in his car.
Fried a dude's battery. Richard is not a good mechanic. He helped a cross-eyed guy with the battery. So Richard also goes to the doctor way too much. He goes to the doctor way too much. But I love the story. He does have something going on with his knee, and it was because of some medication he was taking. Richard tried to fuck that guy with the battery too. We talked about Vanna White sex and Donna Mills on OnlyFans. And I got a question for you, Josh. I wrote all that shit down, and I'm not sure why the episode, by the way, it's 469. Giggity.
Okay.
Steve, why was it called Steve? I don't remember.
Because the Turkish guy that gets drunk in the end story, his name was so difficult to pronounce. He got drunk. He got so drunk, wandered off into the woods, and then helped a search party search for himself.
Yeah.
Well, his name is difficult. So Richard was like, "This motherfucker is going to be Steve for this show."
Yeah, that's part. Right. I remember now.
So I
listened to it real early Saturday morning, Friday morning. I can't remember. I was listening to it and still trying to wake up with my coffee. But yeah, good episode. It's just Richard. We were joking yesterday about side effects. I've told y'all I'm on Jardiance and I'm gonna get that commercial and play it on here so y'all can hear all the side effects. Mainly, it's something to do with your tank in your ass. So,
wow.
But I've lost over 30 pounds on it. So, and I guess it's all coming out my ass. But Richard I'm sorry, Gene. I used your joke, but what the hell? Richard had some pill he was taking that we were laughing at Richard because he said his knee was hurting, this was hurting. Me and Josh was giving him so much hell, and come to find out it was a side effect of the drug he was taking.
See,
so it's real. Side effects are real, folks. So I'm glad he's feeling better.
This week, check out the Retro Wrestling Archive.club. And I don't know what shows are going to be on there. I don't know. It's all everything's kind of in blur right now.
Hold on.
We were going to record some stuff last week. We didn't record any of it. So there may be shows, there may not. I don't know. There'll be the fucking affiliate shows will be up, and there'll be something. There'll be some. This will come out, and Power Pro came out yesterday, so there'll be some stuff to watch and listen to. If not, go back and catch up on some things you missed. I want to welcome our newest Patreon members that joined us this week at the captain level. Got Zach W, not Zach W, Zach double letter U, George and Joshua Birmingham all joined at the captain level. Zach's already been added to the end credits when I redid them. We'll be adding George and Joshua by next weekend. You can join the RWA Army for free at patreon.com/retro wrestling archive. Take a look around, see what you think. And if you choose to, you can join one of our paid tiers, and you can see what all the numerous benefits there are to each tier. You can also join BT's Patreon at patreon.com/shootingtheshiznit. Check out our friends over at EPWWrestlingMS.com. You can see me there every Saturday doing play-by-play on EPW Wrestling Television. And I believe that is just about it. Anything else before we go? Josh, tell them where they can get t-shirts and other fun stuff as it relates to P3 Radio.
Tiny url.com/P3, the letter R store.
Like pirate. There you go. Check them out. They got some fun stuff over there. And if you want to pick up one of our shirts. You can wear one just like Benny has on in the studio. The Mac Daddy shirt's a great time to pick up the Mac
Benny
Daddy
is
shirt.
so serious too. Do you see how serious
Hey,
he is?
he means business. He's trying to do this shit right. And of course, over in the other studio, Smokey showed up. He's got his Levy Auto Parts shirt on. He thought he would get a bigger pop for that. He's kind of mad that everybody's happy that Benny's wearing Corey Maclin and nobody's putting over his Jeff Gaylord Levy Auto Parts shirt.
The sleeves are still on it. I didn't recognize it.
He don't have the guns that Jeff Gaylord has. He knows he knows where he's lacking. So I can appreciate that. So, all right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We will see you here in 2 weeks. We're going to take off for a couple of weeks before we start 92. I'm working on maybe getting an interview with somebody USWA related. I've talked to a couple of people, but you know how that goes. A couple people told me they'll do it. Now, whether they'll actually show up and record the shit, who knows? So I'm not going to mention their names. I'm not going to say it's happening because fuck me, it probably won't. BT's also looking into maybe a USWA person or two. If you haven't checked out his interview with Downtown Bruno, check it out over on Patreon. The mystery of the Madam of the Youngton herself.
Oh, yes. This is all about Power
Bunyan
Pro.
Was revealed over on the Power Pro show, which was quite the revelation for Rob. He has been trying to find out where Paula Bunyan is. Downtown Bruno had some information on that front. So check it out. You'll be glad you did. And last but not least, before we go,
all right, hold on. Don't cut it after I do my catchphrase.
Time out. When you say your catchphrase, since Brandon Wonderful's here,
I
want him to throw his in at the end as well.
I was going to do that. I was going to pitch it to Brandon to do his since we popped his virgin today. Or something. His cherry.
Whoa.
Popped his virgin.
Ouch.
Did that alarm go off and you didn't take your medication? I didn't hear it go off.
Wait, let me make sure I did. Yeah, I did take it. That's pretty sad when they reach out to you. We hear that alarm. We hear that alarm. What is that alarm? Fuck faces. I love my mama. And since this is Brandon's first USWA live and in living color with us, Brandon, what about you completely end it with for us?
See ya.